Disclaimer, I'm gonna need your help to understand if I'm missing something here because, well, Kaveh seems to be maybe missing a little bit himself. But I'm gonna do my best to try to find some cool use cases for this character and then catch us in the live stream tomorrow. Obviously 3.6 details, but let's talk about Kaveh here. Kaveh, I think maybe. I don't know, we watched the translator thing. A 96 elemental mastery is gonna be his ascension scaling stat. 234 base attack, which for a 4-star, not the worst, not the greatest, pretty decent, you know, pretty all right. Base HP is not going to matter for this character. Base defense won't matter either because, well, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be an HP or defense scaling character. He's going to be an attack and EM character. So let's check out his talent here. We'll get back to the normal attack. What I want to focus on here. So let's look at this. So we're going to use Merrick's mapping ability for offensive purposes. We're going to do AoE Dendro damage. And then it's gonna scan all Dendro cores in its AoE and cause them to immediately burst. It has a 6-second cooldown. Now, as you see, the damage all the way up to talent level 10, 367 skill damage. Fine, so we're looking like we're, like I said, an offensive damage dealing, but also sort of EM scaling character. Here's the thing, if we're exploding Dendro cores with a Dendro character, what are we doing? Basically, this just means that, like, you're blooming more, you're making the cores detonate so you can bloom more, but cores already blow up if you generate more than 5 cores. So I guess you could get burst damage, make sure you blow up the cores before monsters move out of them, but we already have Burgeon for that. We've played with Burgeon Xinyan, which that video is not out yet, but we're gonna be making that video. I could level Kaveh, but instead I have Xinyan for a Burgeon team. I don't really get this because we're having a Dendro character detonate Dendro cores. We're not using Hyper Bloom, we're not using Burgeon. We're just basically making them do what Bloom would do. But let's get more on this. Let's talk about the Elemental Burst as well. Now, the Elemental Burst is going to make his normal attack a little bit more interesting. We'll talk about that here, but here's Painted Dome, the Elemental Burst. Now, what this is going to do, it's going to create a small space that does AoE Dendro damage, all opponents within it, and causes all Dendro cores in its AoE to immediately burst once again. So he is a Dendro character that wants Dendro cores to blow up as soon as possible. But also it's going to increase his normal charge and plunging attack damage, as well as convert his attacks here into Dendro damage, which means that he's going to be able to be a pretty good application of Dendro, right? Which is fine. So we're going to have a character that can sort of get in there and apply as much Dendro as possible. We'll have Dendro application from his E and detonate cores, Dendro application from his Q, detonate cores. But once again, if we're using Dendro application on a Dendro character to the point where we're generating so many Dendro cores, well, we're just gonna keep generating the cores and they blow up anyway. We're not using Hyper Bloom to blow them up because he's blowing them up. We're not using Burgeon to blow them up with a Pyro character because he's blowing them up. He's basically just creating, he's not even creating more cores than blowing them up. If you just create more cores, they blow up anyway. The old ones do anyway. So the only use I can see out of this so far is you generate some cores and before the opponents move out of them, you have the ability to detonate them with this character, which I'll leave that up to you if that's what's going on. How useful that is, to me, that doesn't seem that useful. Bloom teams already can, well, do pretty well. You generate so many cores that the enemies just stay there and get hit by the cores over and over and over. I don't see a reason or a need for a character like Kaveh to force detonate the cores. Just make more cores and they'll detonate themselves already. I don't really understand this. But on top of this, though, it is going to do some other stuff. All Dendro cores created by all of your own party members through Bloom reactions deal additional damage when they burst. Now, this doesn't say burst from his ability to make them burst. It just says when they burst. Also, it doesn't say the special cores that Nilou can make because hers are, I forget what they're called, but they're not just called Dendro cores. They're called like Hyper Dendro cores or something. They have a different name. And I don't know if this is going to apply to those cores either because they're not just Dendro cores. We'll have to see about that. If this can be used, his elemental burst here, to make the super Nilou cores even better, that might be something cool. It also is going to increase Kaveh's resistance to interruption as well. At skill level 1, we can see it's got a 12-second duration, 20-second cooldown, 80 energy cost, which is not something that we really like to see. 80 energy cost in a not 100% uptime. This is almost closer to a 50% uptime. It's like a 55, 60% uptime on an elemental burst that seems so quintessential to his ability to do damage and pretty much apply Dendro and do all of this different stuff. He also has 49.5% Dendro Core burst damage bonus if you have this at talent level 10 versus 27.5 at talent level 1. So it's a character that you want to take this up to 10. If you can take it all the way up to 13, right, you get some extra constellations. You get the 58.4% Dendro Core burst damage bonus. We'll have to see if this works with Nilu's cores. Not sure yet. Live stream hopefully will clear that up. If you already know about that somehow, wink, wink, put that down below. It's one of those things that we want to facilitate conversations about stuff like this. So let's check out the passives here. So let's check out the passives here. We have an Architect's Undertaking. Damage dealt by a Dendro Core, including damage from Burgeon and Hyper Bloom when it hits Kaveh. Kaveh's going to regain health equal to 300% of his elemental mastery. Basically, he has literally an entire passive that just makes him heal basically off of the damage that you would, the tiny amount of damage you would do to yourself with Burgeon and Hyper Bloom. So fine, and Bloom as well, because any Dendro Core damage, which is okay, sure, that seems fine. But usually, you know, these teams have a way to facilitate healing, something like this already. Maybe, you know, his shtick is that you can now make a full Bloom team with no healer, and you're just really good at dodging, and he can block all of the damage for you from the detonation of the Blooms, etc., because he'll heal himself off that damage, which could be really cool. That is the one thing I've seen so far from the kit that I kind of like. The second Ascension here, during Painted Dome, which is his elemental burst, his normal charge and plunging attacks, when they hit opponents, his elemental mastery will increase by 25, and this can stack up to 5 or 4 times and can be triggered every 0.1 seconds. Basically, long story short, this is 100 elemental mastery for Kaveh here for his second Ascension skill. And then this effect ends when Painted Dome's effect ends as well. So you're gonna elemental burst, you're gonna be able to get, you know, do some normal charge plunging attacks as well, because these are all going to be infused with Dendro during your elemental burst. You're going to get some extra elemental mastery. That's going to be cool. Detonation damage is going to heal you a little bit. That's fine there as well. And then his normal attack here doesn't have anything super special on it, but the way that it is, you know, seen here, the charge attack drains stamina over time to perform continuous slashes. This is not the spin to win description. This is like the Diluc or the Eula, sort of wildly just going out there attacking everyone. If this has a unique internal cooldown on applying Dendro, maybe then we'll see some pretty unique stuff with him if he can just mass apply Dendro over and over. But what I don't really get is this scan and blow up Dendro cores with a character that does Dendro damage. I don't really understand that. We have ways to do that already. Generate more cores, we'll blow up cores over 5. Use pyro damage, that's a Burgeon team, blows up all the cores. Use an electro character in there, that's Hyper Bloom team, does that already anyway. I don't really know why we need a Dendro character that can detonate cores, because Dendro characters can already detonate cores. You just make more cores. I don't understand it. Maybe I'm really missing something here, but someone let me know down below what that could possibly be, because I'm not seeing it. Now let's see if Constellations do anything for him real quick. The first one here, after using Artistic Ingenuity, his Dendro resistance and incoming healing bonus will be increased by 50% and 25%. Basically, Dendro resistance goes up because all of this self-damaging stuff that we see, you self-damage yourself with Bloom and all of that stuff, Burgeon as well. That's Dendro damage, so it's gonna reduce the damage you take by blowing up your own cores. Super cool, nice, but he already heals off of that. Basically, he's just really good at taking the damage from cores for you, which is also something else that Baizu looks like he's going to be really good at doing as well. C2 here, 20 or 15% normal attack speed increase here during his elemental burst. Fine, I guess. C4 is going to Dendro cores created by Bloom reactions that he triggers specifically deal 60% more damage when they burst. So now we're looking at sort of like mini Nilu Dendro version instead of a Hydro version, right? At C4 here for Kaveh here, because now we're going to have 60% more damage when they burst here. And then we have the elemental burst talent here that is also going to increase the Dendro core damage as well. Now, what's the conversion of this to elemental mastery? Like, how much elemental mastery is this worth? That's a different conversation. I do want to note, if you already commented down below, it's not exactly the same as Nilu. You are 100% correct, because Nilu makes a different kind of core and it has a larger base damage, and thus you get more value out of the elemental mastery on your gear, whereas this is just kind of like elemental mastery but in a different form, where Nilu's still different, but it's, you know, basically at the end of the day you get bigger core detonations here from Kaveh. At the end of the day, we're gonna have to see what mathematically that looks like, and if it's super cool or good enough to really celebrate over is what we here would like to call, is it Primo Gem worthy? I don't know. C6 here, The Dreams, when his normal charge and plunging attacks hit opponents during his elemental burst, they will unleash a attack at the opponent's position, dealing 61.8% of his attack as AoE Dendro damage, and once again, causing all Dendro cores within that AoE to burst. So yes, it's gonna be cool, I guess, to detonate more cores, but like I said, you can already just generate more cores, and if you over-generate cores, they will just blow up anyway. That's what the Bloom team has been forever. I don't really know why anyone would care about blowing up cores in a non-Bloom team. That would actually be bad, because if you're trying to put him in a Hyper Bloom team, or if you're trying to put him in a Burgeon team, well, guess what? He's going to be detonating cores for you, and you're not going to be able to hit them with the Electro attack. You're not going to be able to hit them with the Pyro attack to make them Hyper Bloom or to make them Burgeon. It's going to be very, very difficult, especially if you just are playing Dendro like I do and just keyboard smash. That's generally what all you have to do in any Dendro team in Genshin Impact right now, is just smash the keyboard and have fun with that. So maybe he is supposed to just be like a 4-star Nilou-esque type of character that gets you bigger bloom damage. Very weird with the core detonation thing. You let me know how you feel about that down below. I can't really wrap my head around why you would necessarily want to do that or need to do that. If you want to detonate Dendro cores, hit them with Pyro, hit them with Electro. Or if you just want to hit him with more Dendro and Hydro damage, you'll make more cores and detonate the old cores. So possibly you want to detonate the cores before, like I said, the enemies move out of where the cores are. A lot of the times I don't really see the need for that though. Possibly, I don't know, if you're a big Bloom main, you let me know how you feel about that down below. Hopefully he does work with the super awesome cores that Nilou does generate when she's in your Bloom team. If not, that's going to be another strike against him, and that might maybe make him one of the more useless characters in Genshin. Generally, characters aren't super useless. Hopefully, Kaveh's not going to be like that, because 3.5, 3.6 kind of needs to pick it up here, and I'm not seeing a lot of people being very excited so far for Kaveh and Baisu. We've kind of been all Dendroed out at this point. So drop that like, call someone today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.